It all started when Claire and her younger brother Jonah moved with their mother into a century-old farmhouse in rural Vermont. The house sat at the edge of a forest, its roof sagging slightly and the paint weathered by decades of brutal winters. Their mom, recently divorced, called it a fresh start. Claire called it creepy as hell. From the first day, something felt off. The house was too quiet. Not just rural quiet, but still, like it was holding its breath. That first night, while unpacking, Jonah paused in the hallway. "Did you hear that?" Claire froze. Faintly, from inside the walls, came a high-pitched sound. A whistle. Not like a kettle or the wind, but deliberate. 2 notes. Almost a melody. It faded before Claire could say anything. "Just the pipes," she muttered, brushing it off and nudging him toward his room. But she wasn't convinced. The whistle came back the next night. And the next. Always at night. Always from a different place in the house. Claire began noticing Jonah wasn't sleeping well. He looked pale, with bags under his eyes. He started keeping a notebook, writing down the times he heard the sound: 2:12 a.m. 1:43 a.m. 3:08 a.m. Never the same twice, but always in the dead of night. One morning, he showed Claire a drawing, a stick figure standing next to a wall, with a smaller figure inside it, its eyes wide, its mouth a perfect O. "It lives in the walls," he whispered. "It watches us." Claire tried to laugh it off, but that night, at 2:05 a.m., she heard it for herself. From behind her headboard came a whistle, hoo-hoo, wheat. 2 soft notes. Followed by scratching. She turned on the lamp, silence. The next day, curiosity got the best of her. She went down into the basement and found a strange hollow sound behind one of the walls. It didn't match the rest. After pushing aside some rotting shelves, she tapped the drywall, then fetched a hammer and gently broke through. Inside was a small crawlspace, just tall enough to crouch in. It stank of rot and mildew. Inside were old children's toys, a rocking horse, a cracked porcelain doll. On the far wall were tally marks, dozens, maybe hundreds, scratched in deep with something sharp. Claire backed out slowly, heart pounding, and ran to get Jonah. He stared into the space without surprise. "It's where he keeps them," he said. Claire stared at him. "Who?" Jonah looked up at her and said, "The Whistler." That night, unable to sleep, Claire found herself exploring the attic. In a dusty old box labeled Andrews Family, 1956, she found cassette tapes. One had a hand-scrawled label, "Don't listen after midnight." She couldn't resist. She found an old tape player, brushed the dust off, and hit play. A man's voice came through, shaky, terrified. "We moved in 6 weeks ago." The whistling started on the second night. "It's always 2 notes. Never the same place twice. We thought it was an animal, but there's intelligence behind it." Then a pause. And then, through the static, hoo-hoo, wheat. The man came back, this time more frantic. "It mimics us. It learned my daughter's voice. It called for me, from inside the walls." The tape clicked off. Claire sat frozen. Then, behind her, hoo-hoo, wheat. She spun around. Nothing was there. But the sound had come from inside the wall. After that, Jonah began acting even stranger. He stopped talking to Claire, but she could hear him whispering at night. She put her ear to his bedroom door. "Okay," she heard him say. "I'll tell her." Then the whistle. Soft and low. Claire pushed open the door. Jonah was sitting in the dark, facing the wall. "They want you now," he said, not turning around. That night, Claire dreamed of being trapped inside the walls, pressed between beams, unable to move or scream. Something was beside her, crawling, humming the 2-note whistle over and over. She woke up gasping. And realized Jonah wasn't in his bed. She tore through the house, calling his name. Nothing. No open doors, no footprints. Just his notebook, lying open on his bed. The last entry read. I followed the whistle. He says I'll be free now. Claire collapsed in the hallway. Then she heard it. From the crawlspace. Ho ho, wheat. Then a whisper, Claire. She ran. The police were called. They searched for days. No trace of Jonah. The crawlspace was sealed. The case went cold. Claire was sent to live with her father. The house was boarded up and left to rot. Years passed. Claire tried to forget. But sometimes, when she's alone, she still hears it. 2 notes. Always faint. Always close. Ho ho, wheat. Her vents. Her closet. Her dreams. Last week, she got a letter in the mail. No return address. Just a single sheet of yellowed paper. On it, a child's messy handwriting. I miss you. The Whistler says you're next. Claire hadn't set foot in Vermont in almost 11 years. But when the letter came, mailed with no return address, sealed with wax, and containing only that single message, the Whistler says you're next. Something inside her cracked open. Old fears she had buried, voices she had convinced herself were dreams, came rushing back. She told herself it was a prank. She even laughed. Once. But then the whistling returned. It wasn't every night. That would have been easy to track. It came when she least expected it, during a Zoom call, while brushing her teeth, once in the middle of a grocery store. 2 notes, unmistakable. Ho ho, wheat. Claire did what she'd always done, she ignored it. Until the night her friend Rachel came over and heard it too. They were watching a movie. Claire paused it to answer a call in the kitchen. She came back to find Rachel standing by the hallway wall, staring. Did you just whistle? Rachel asked. Claire froze. No. It came from here. From inside. Claire didn't answer. Rachel didn't come back to visit after that. The next morning, Claire found a small object on the floor by her bed. A plastic toy soldier. The exact kind Jonah used to play with. She hadn't seen one in years. She flushed it down the toilet. But the next night, another was there. This one had a broken arm. Claire started locking her bedroom door. Sleeping with music on. She blocked the vents with duct tape. And still the whistle came. One night, she decided to answer it. She sat on the floor in silence and waited. At 2:17 a.m., it came again. Ho ho, wheat. Claire closed her eyes and whispered, What do you want? Silence. Then, softly, from inside the wall, Come home. She didn't sleep for the rest of the night. By morning, Claire had packed a bag. She told her boss she needed time off. She drove 10 hours straight back to Vermont. The old farmhouse was still there, boarded up, sagging deeper into the earth like it was being swallowed. The air around it felt heavier. Claire didn't bother with the front door. She found the basement window, broke it open, and crawled inside. It smelled the same, of damp rot and something sour. Dust curled in the sunlight like smoke. She stood in the silence, waiting. And then she heard it. Not a whistle this time, but movement. Scratching. Soft footsteps overhead. She crept upstairs and found the door to the crawlspace exactly where it had been. It was sealed shut with old wooden planks. Someone, or something, had tried hard to keep it closed. She pried the wood loose. The nails screeched. Dust exploded into the air. Inside, everything was the same, the rocking horse. The doll. The tally marks, more now. so many they covered the wall like wallpaper. Claire pulled out her phone and started taking pictures. She didn't notice, at first, that her battery dropped to 10%. Then 5%. Then dead. The screen went black. That's when the crawlspace door slammed shut behind her. Total darkness. She screamed and pounded on the wood. But her voice didn't echo. It was swallowed, like the air itself was too thick to carry sound. Then came the whistle. Louder now. Inside the crawlspace with her. Ho ho, wheat. And then a voice. Not Jonah's. Not a child's. A low, rasping whisper, we were never in the walls. The walls are in you. Claire clawed her way back out, wood splintering her hands. She ran to the car, drove until she saw daylight, and checked into a roadside motel 30 miles away. That night, she dreamt of Jonah. He was sitting in the corner of the crawlspace, knees to his chest, eyes gone black. You're here now, he said. He's glad. He's almost strong enough. Claire woke screaming. There were fresh tally marks carved into her motel nightstand. She didn't remember doing it. She checked out. Changed her name. Burned the clothes she wore into the house. But no matter where she goes, the whistle finds her. Sometimes far away, barely audible. Other times right behind her ear, as if someone is standing inches away, exhaling into her skin. The message is always the same. Come home. Last week, she got another letter. This one wasn't handwritten. It was a photograph. A blurry shot of the crawlspace. In the corner, 2 figures. One is clearly Jonah. The other is her. She hasn't taken that photo yet. But she knows she will. Claire stared at the photograph for hours, her mind unraveling thread by thread. She examined every corner of the image. It was grainy, distorted, but it was real. That was her face. Her clothes. Her eyes, wide, vacant. She didn't remember being there. She didn't remember the photo being taken. Her phone buzzed. A new email. No sender. No subject. Just an attachment. A sound file. She hesitated, hand trembling, then hit play. White noise hissed softly at first. Then footsteps. A faint creak. And finally. Ho ho, wheat. Then her own voice, unmistakable, whispering. I'm already inside. Claire dropped the phone. It hit the motel floor with a crack. Behind her, the bathroom light flickered. She turned. And saw it. In the mirror, her reflection was smiling. She wasn't. Then it lifted a finger and pressed it to its lips. Claire stumbled backward, heart pounding, gasping for air. From every wall of the motel room, in perfect harmony, the whistle began. Ho ho, wheat. Her phone buzzed again. One new message. No text, just a live GPS pin. The location, the farmhouse basement. And below that, 2 words. It's open.